What is going on, everybody? Today, I just wanted to go over a little price action review from this morning's session, as well as going over some of the executions that I had taken. I will go ahead and put the P&Ls here on the screen. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into the review. So the first thing I want to note here on the daily time frame is that we had this fair value gap that we traded into yesterday during FOMC. Right? We traded into this fair value gap and then we closed bullish back in the range. What this was kind of telling me is that we wanted to maybe trade higher towards these daily highs for the rest of the week. So with this in mind, we can drop down to the 4-hour, and 4-hour kind of shows us the same thing, right? We took out this sell side liquidity here, and then we closed bullish back in the range. This is where we closed. And we can kind of consider this like a consolidation and then a manipulation leg right here during FOMC. And then we start trading higher. So coming into the market at 9:30 today, what I noticed is that we had a pretty large Asia range, right? And typically when we have a large Asian range like this, we can expect 50% of this range to hold and continue in the same direction that it started, right? So in this case, it was bullish. We can expect price to respect 50% of this range and continue bullish maybe towards this daily high. And you could see typically we have small Asian ranges, right? We have small Asian range. Here we had a large Asian range and we respected 50% of this level, continued bullish, exactly like the Asian range. And you can go back and back test that for yourself. That's not what this video is about. This is just a little price action review. So what I noticed at 9:30 was that we were trading above midnight open here, and then pre-market we started to trade lower. Now what happened was we were actually leaving behind these London highs, right? So it's actually engineering a little bit more liquidity for us because we have these daily and weekly highs paired with this London high, right? So this was automatically a bullish narrative to me coming into 9:30 open. We had so much clean, low resistance liquidity that was forming right here. You can see I have 9:30 was right here, excuse me. And we have this low resistance liquidity that was formed. You can see we have a high here, we have a high here, and then we are even forming more liquidity here. And also we have London highs and daily highs resting above. So what I was expecting right at market open was kind of a turtle soup entry play, right? So my first entry was actually right here at London low, right when price kind of opened in the 9:30 open. I took my first entry here, and we have 50% of the Asian range right here, and that's kind of where my stop loss was. I ended up getting stopped out on that initial trade, but I re-entered shortly after, expecting that 50% level to kind of hold. And that kind of aligns with my plan as well. My system that I trade, I'm very strict about my risk management and very strict on how many trades I take per day and how much money I'm losing. If you guys want that system that I trade every single day, you can just click the link down in my bio and I'll send it over to you for free. But anyways, I entered my second trade around that 50% level. And as you can see, price started spooling towards target here. Now I'll go down to the 5-minute and I'll show you my entries and exits and a little bit more of my thought process, right? So I'm going to bring this in so you can see. So on the 5-minute, this was more of my execution time frame and my thought process on this. I'm going to mark out this 50% level so we can see. So we got 50% of Asian range, right? So with all this marked out, like I said, we came into the market at 9:30 and I immediately took this buy at London low. I had a 400 tick stop loss because this was kind of an early entry. This was kind of like I was anticipating price to flip bullish and run straight for these highs. However, that wasn't the case. We actually traded lower into this 50%. And what can you see here? price was engineering more low resistance liquidity, right? So with all this in mind, when I did get stopped out around this level right here, I actually re-entered again with a shorter stop loss because obviously I'm managing my risk and that's part of my system. However, with all this low resistance liquidity hanging above here, here, and these London and daily highs, it was a pretty clear target for me. And you could see once I entered here, price immediately started taking off and spooling in this direction. Now, I did want to get a little bit better second entry. You can see I entered again right here at this fair value gap. But what happened was price was spooling so hard and running for this liquidity, it wasn't really giving an opportunity for people to get in. So I scaled in again and trailed my stop loss up. So my second entry looked something like this. My first entry was here. I had like a 200 tick stop, right? My second entry, I had trailed something like this, and it ended up being like a 1 to 4 trade. Now, whenever you scale in like this, you have to make sure you are trailing your stop loss because you never want to risk more than your initial investment, right? So if I was here and I scaled in my trade and my average was now here, I don't want to be risking more. I always want to scale my stop losses or try to go break even as quick as possible. So in this case, a good break-even point would have been once we took some of this low resistance liquidity up here. I could have easily moved to break even. However, we didn't even see price consolidate and we just kind of ran straight for target. I actually live trade every single day in my Discord. If you want to be a part of that, you can click the link down in my bio and you can join up.